Hello, welcome to Miniature Realms. My name's Stuart, and welcome to episode 0 of a brand new Warhammer the Old World podcast, The Old Worlders. Let's go and meet my co-host.
Miniature Realms is proudly sponsored by Counter-Attack Bases. They stock a wide range of counters, gaming aids and movement trays for multiple game systems, and offer custom items to suit your club, your event, or even your podcast or YouTube channel. Check out the link in the video description.
So we're here for episode 0, and Mark, tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself.
Hello everybody, so my name's Mark Langley. I'm a long-term Warhammer hobbyist from the launch of Warhammer back in the 80s all the way through to the present day. Former Games Workshop freelancer, did a lot of stuff in the 90s, working with Wayne England. And then currently I'm a member of the media team for Team England, The Old World. Yeah, that's about it really in a nutshell.
Well, it's a good nutshell. You're very involved in the community. You are a moderator on my Discord as well, and a huge supporter of the channel. We chat a lot about behind the scenes, and that's partly why we're doing this, because of want to share our views on the Warhammer, the Old world and community with you guys. I'm going to assume that the viewers know who I am, because it's on a particular channel. It's on my channel, Miniature Realms. If you have found the podcast first before anything else, take a little look at all the videos on the channel, and that gives you a good idea. But essentially, I'm a commission painter and a YouTuber. This channel covers a wide range of game systems, but a good 50% of the content is old world, and it is my favorite game. Warhammer Fantasy square-based stuff is my favorite game, and I've been gaming for a very long time. But we're going to delve more into our backgrounds in a future episode. But we thought today we'll give a really basic introduction to what we're going to do in the future on this podcast, and this is an episode 0 for that reason. So we thought we'd start with a little bit of a question around the game, and we're going to start with Mark, and he's going to sort of describe his thoughts around where we are now with Warhammer the Old World. What did he expect at this point, and what would he like to see?
Yeah, so where are we now? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Because I don't really think anybody would have thought, a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, that we'd be where we are now with a very successful game. Who knew, with all the people that used to play fantasy, compared to where we thought we would be. I did not think it would have been this successful. But I also did think it would be this successful, but I didn't expect us overall to have the progression within the game that we've had so far. I don't know how you feel about how things have gone from where you sit, but it's I think we're a good way down the road of it becoming incredibly well established already.
Yeah. Loads quicker than I expected. I think we all had the little shock just before release when we found out that some factions weren't going to be joining us for the start of the game at least, and that was a bit of a shock. But definitely in hindsight now, when you look at how many armies have been released in 2.25 years, we'd still be releasing those armies now if they were sticking to that original format, and that's not denigrating those armies. I want them in the game, but they've produced an awful lot. There's been little dips. There's been moments when the community panics because of other games being released, and we might be entering a period of that now. But if I'm honestly going to look back, and I think the game has settled in really nicely. There's been quite a lot of ups and downs in terms of balancing the rules, and a big FAQ that's changed the rules quite considerably, which I think shows that they're aware of the game and the relative balance for it and the way it plays. It's not 100% right, but no edition of Warhammer Fantasy has ever been like that, and I still think
it hasn't.
It's eminently playable as a game. And for sort of higher end competitive gaming, it probably requires a few more tweaks. But for the vast majority of the community who don't play games like that play casually, narratively, casual down the club, etc., the game works mostly pretty well, including using legacy armies. There's always ways to get them to work. So in terms of the other bits, so What do you expect or hope for the future? What do you still hope for the game?
I think that there's a huge amount that the game can offer, and I think part of the beauty of it is that we don't actually know where we're going with it.
Mm.
Games Workshop have obviously got a plan for us, and they're going to take it on board and lead us on that story and that journey. But really, we don't know. Personally, I would love to see the integration of chaos again, so that you can field entire chaos armies as per the old glory days, where you could have
Hmm.
demons and beastmen and chaos warriors and marauders and thugs, um, all in the same army. That would be wonderful. But we just we don't know, and I think already, as you say, there was armies that were dropped just before release. There's the ever growing rumor around, Kislev and Nippon, and was the Dogs of War Arcane Journal that we got, was that actually the proper Dogs of War Arcane Journal, or was it just a nod to it? Are we going to get a different campaign book for them? Are we going to get something for the vampires? There's all these factions that are under Age of Sigmar. Are they going to be moved around a lot or not? It's really interesting. I don't know where we're really going to go with it, but everything that I can think about it is positive if they can maintain the schedule that they've started with, because I think invariably it's got to slow down at some point. I think we're seeing that now. Whether
Mm.
or not it picks up again, um, will remain to be seen, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think that the slowdown has fallen at a time where it would be forced anyway with the release of Warhammer 40K 11th edition. The last time we saw a slowdown was for a release of Age of Sigmar, which
Mm.
is definitely was at that time. Whether it remains to be, probably is still very much Games Workshop's second main product line. Then you have to expect that when your game is produced the way it is as part of a smaller side of the studio, the SDS side of the studio. So in terms of all of that, my expectations are always relatively low, and understanding that at times the game will have to take a bit of a back seat where other things. They've also got so many different games and products that they've got to find time for, not just for the marketing and release side of it, but also the production side of it.
Mm.
They suffered before with production issues. In Nottingham, they're trying to expand the factories and the logistics and all of these things. And there's lots of things worldwide outside of their control as well. And continuing now with new things we didn't realize were going to happen a year or so ago that will affect shipping. So there's so much going on that can affect what comes out rather than just what they choose to do artistically. So in terms of what I'd love to see, is probably what everyone would love to see, is all of the old legacy factions back, and then a few more
Mm.
new things like the ones you've mentioned, Kislev, which I'm sure we'll get at some point because they've clearly done some work on it with Creative Assembly alongside them, and see other things like Nippon would be fantastic. I'd probably prefer to see the older factions back, but if they bring back new ones before that, there's probably a reason for it. Hopefully, it's not purely marketing. Hopefully, it's because there's other reasons. But I think whatever is true at the beginning, whatever plan they had there has changed. They've said that themselves, and maybe that's changing more and more all the time. So it's hard to say what's definitely going to come because we don't know what's going to come in the next 2 years
Yeah,
as a
agreed.
sales future. So some things that weren't meant to be will now come to pass, hopefully, and then hopefully that'll continue to grow. Maybe the perceived hold that AOS has on certain factions, which was maybe down to marketing, accounting, whatever reason it was, might be loosened when they realise the opportunity to make sales from those factions in old world as well, and they will find a way to make that work, I'm sure. So I am hopeful that we will get all those things, but I'm also realistic where we might not get them as quick as we want them to be. Some things may not return for a number of editions. But as we've seen
Yeah.
with Chaos Dwarves, and they might not have come back on square basis, things do come back, even if it's a long, long time in the future. And we've seen it with 40K releases as well. New factions come back, squats come back under a different name and look very different, but things do come back. And it can be a little bit unexpected sometimes. So I think there will
Yeah.
be rats on square bases in the future. I think there will be different flavors of wet undead in the future. Hopefully it's the way we remember them, but they will come back one way or another.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think, like, if we're being completely honest about it, although everybody's sort of like, oh, we didn't really get any news or anything, we have just had that massive cafe release last month, and really, it's slowing down a little bit. I don't think it actually. It's annoying because so much momentum was built up before, but obviously it was obvious that that couldn't continue and that there had to be a bit of a slowdown. And it's not a bad thing because it's given everybody the chance to catch up with their painting. It's given everybody's wallets a chance to sort of like recoup themselves a little bit because it was getting quite expensive at one point when we was getting sort of like every 6 weeks we was getting something quite hefty new. It was, yeah, it was. I can imagine a lot of people felt a bit of the strain, and it's very difficult to maybe feel that you've got to keep up when it's just not logistically and financially possible for you to do so. So it's slowing down a bit isn't a bad thing. It's everybody can just wait for a little bit, I think, because I'm sure what's coming will be, you know, to everybody's, you know, hopes and dreams at some point down the line, whenever that may be.
Yeah, I agree. It's in a weird, it's been in a weird place whole world where the releases have been regular enough but spaced out just enough that you feels like you can almost buy everything. Back in the
Mm,
days of seventh and eighth edition fantasy, I only bought the army books for the armies that I played. But I have a very different mentality to it this time, partly as a content creator. And maybe we've got a dream in the future where there's releases every month and you just don't cover everything. You just pick up the things you really want, so that the next big excitement will hook some people in, but not everyone. And that's a individual thing. I'm not worried about the future. I think it looks bright, even if we have a long gap now. I think the fear is because we don't know what's coming because there hasn't been any kind of preview now. We've run to the end of all of the news, so we're just on the rumors now. But rumors are fun as well, definitely are. Right, instead of this is a tease today. This is an episode 0. An advert, if anything, for the next one to give you a bit of an idea of what you might see in future episodes. And there will be one following very, very soon. In fact, we're going to be recording that very, very shortly. The title for episode 1 will be Will Legacy Armies Split the Community? And we'll leave you thinking about that. But thank you very much for watching this. Take care, and we'll catch you soon for episode 1.